Hey friends, Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. Hope that you're doing well. I am doing peachy keen. Got a little bit of the, what do we call that? Oh yeah, the flu. It's okay. It's not gonna stop me. Today I've got a very important release for you. It is a flanker. Now get this, that has the name Elixir. I know, very rare. There are very few Elixir fragrances on the market. It's just, it's not much of a thing, but I've got an inkling that it might catch on, that name, Elixir. The one we're talking about today is this Bad Boy Elixir, of course, from Carolina Herrera. Look at that. Now this one I was not super psyched about when it was first announced because at the time, there were just 3 notes and it didn't seem all that interesting to me. At that time, it was, I believe, sage, leather, and cedar, which, that's not a whole lot to go off of. But thankfully, since then, Carolina Herrera has released the full note breakdown, and it got a little more interesting. I'll have this fragrance linked below where you can buy it if you want to. I bought mine from Carolina Herrera's website. It was $163 US. For this one right here, a 100 ml size bottle. You can also get a 50 ml or 150 ml if you want. The pricing of those, $128 and $205. Let's go ahead and kick things off as always by taking a look at the presentation here, then we can start talking Bad Boy and whether Bad Boy Elixir is the best of the best, the creme de la creme of the Bad Boy line. Here we have the box. You have the name of the fragrance, name of the house, size, and concentration on the front. It is an eau de parfum Elixir concentration. Is that an official concentration? No, it's not. But I guess it just sounds nice. On top of the box, you have a CH for Carolina Herrera. On the back, a little information, including ingredients. On the bottom, your badge code and barcode. Badge code 42791. And here we've got the bottle, nice gradient here with kind of an ambery caramel type color up top going to black at the bottom. This one has a gold base where it says Carolina Herrera, New York on the bottom. Little CH on top of the bottle as well. On the bottom, you have your badge code etched into the stand, and the atomizer is of course built into the bottle. What do you say we go ahead and do a couple sprays here? Here we go, nice atomizer on these. Before we jump into Bad Boy Elixir and I let you know what I think about this one, here are some codes you can use to save money. Those JOMASHOP codes have changed. They change like every couple months or so. And they also only work within the JOMASHOP app, so be aware of that. And then you have all the other codes that you can use to save money as well. So anytime you shop at any of these sites, use one of those codes. All right, Bad Boy Elixir. How is it? Well, this isn't even the first Elixir in the Bad Boy lineup, because before this one, there was Bad Boy Cobalt Elixir. So this is the second Elixir in the Bad Boy line. And nowadays, a lot of people are just immediately hating on anything that has the Elixir nameplate on the front. So you're seeing that more and more as, frankly, more and more designer brands come out with Elixir releases. People are just going, oh, another Elixir, I hate it. Even before they've smelled it, just the name Elixir is turning a lot of people off nowadays. And I will say, so it's a little overplayed. There are already, I don't know what, like at least 4 new Elixirs announced this year so far, I feel like. And we are in January, so yeah. But just because it's named Elixir does not automatically mean it's bad. And I'll tell you guys, before we even jump into how this one smells, this stuff's pretty good. Even with my current kind of sickness going on, where I feel like a hot dog that's been microwaved for like 5 minutes, it's just not so good, basically. This stuff still rips. I love the way this smells. So when you first spray this guy on, you're gonna get a little citrus pop in there. So you get this nice citrusy freshness, but then mixed with that is that cocoa note that kind of comes through like the original Bad Boy and also Bad Boy Extreme. You get that here as soon as you spray the fragrance on. And also a little bit like Bad Boy Extreme, it's got that kind of like underlying almost nuttiness to it. Not quite as much as Bad Boy Extreme does though. This one is smoother, less aggressive, more pleasant, I would say, more easily worn. You get little hits of that aromatic sage and lavender that kind of work underneath the cocoa initially. The citrus doesn't last all that long, really just a couple minutes. Like basically it hits you, it's very fresh, lively. Like I said, a great pop, and it's right there with the cocoa, but it kind of just seeps away really quickly. Quality here is amazing. As soon as you spray it on, it smells great. And then you get that iris that comes in, but it's not a whole heck of a lot. So it's like cocoa, a little aromatic bit of the sage, touch of lavender, and then the iris kind of comes up through those notes. Not really powdery, just ever so slightly creamy, and it's definitely more of a backing note, more of a support note. And then as it dries down further yet, you get the leather that comes out. And the leather here is supple, it's smooth, but it is a little bit punchy. It's not animalic, so, you know, not dirty, not funky, nothing like that. It just has a little bit of that like mild leather jacket, leather bag aspect to it. So it is noticeably leather. It's just not something that's overtly aggressive, more supple the way that it comes across. Then of course that cocoa, that lingers, adds a nice little sweetness that kind of lays on top of the leather. And then in the far dry down, you do get a nice little touch of like a smoked woody aspect as well that kind of takes over for the leather when you hit the far dry down. So it's one that changes a bunch as you wear it, but it stays extremely wearable the whole way through. To me, the fragrance it reminds me the most of is this one that I mentioned a couple times already, Bad Boy Extreme. But between the two, this one, Elixir, I feel like way more wearable, easier to pull off, more of a compliment puller, more of an easygoing fragrance. Extreme might be a little more interesting to some people because it is more aggressive, but I feel like the one that's better balanced, like I said, more wearable, is this one, the Elixir. Now, as I said earlier, there's already an Elixir fragrance in the Bad Boy line, right? Cobalt Elixir. But for a lot of people, they prefer the original Bad Boy Cobalt over Cobalt Elixir. They just feel like the way that fragrance comes across, that DNA, it's better suited in the original, the way that comes across. I'll tell you, for me though, this is the best of the Bad Boy DNA. So not talking about Cobalt or Cobalt Elixir, talking about all the other Bad Boy fragrances. This is the one I would want to wear. While there's a little bit of sweetness here from the cocoa, obviously in the opening, and as it dries down, it doesn't go super sweet. So it's actually less sweet than most of the other big fall and wintertime designer fragrances out right now. You know, we're talking The Most Wanted, Stronger With You, Scandal Absolute, stuff like that. It's not that sweet. There's a little bit, but not a whole mess load. And I love the little changes that happen here. When you can pick up that hint of iris, a little bit of smoky woods as it dries down, the way the leather comes across. Super appealing while being sexy, wearable, but not immature. So while I fully expect when this first comes out for most people to be like, it's a bad boy Elixir, it sucks. You know, look at it, stupid bottle, stupid lightning bolt, stupid name, all that. I fully expect that, but give this a try. It is surprisingly really, really well done, and it thoroughly exceeded my expectations from when I first read about this one, when it had just those 3 notes. It sounded very boring to me, just very run-of-the-mill. But this is basically taking that Bad Boy DNA and elevating it, making it smell higher quality, better put together. Like I said, less childish. Less childish? Yes, that. Absolutely love this stuff. Really addictive. Now, one thing I will say about it though, it's an elixir and it's an eau de parfum elixir, so you would expect it to probably be really, really strong. And it's not that it's weak, but I think that Extreme is actually stronger. To be fair, these are first impressions. You know, I've only been able to wear this for a couple of days, but it doesn't seem to be like just absolutely ripping. It's a little bit more of very solid, but at the same time, slightly more personal scent cloud. So it's definitely strong enough to get you noticed. It lasts a decent amount of time, but it's not something that's like gonna fill up a room. Unless you dump a bottle on yourself, then I'm sure it will. In terms of when you'd use it, obviously gonna be more of a fall winter time fragrance. I think daytime or evening, but just by the nature of the scent itself, I'd say more people probably would think of it as like a nighttime fragrance. I think either one. And if you really like it, I think you can pull this off during spring also. Now we're still at the very beginning of the year, and there are many fragrance releases still to come, but of the very few fragrances that I've smelled that are releases that have come out this year, this is, I would say, my favorite one so far, which again is not saying a whole heck of a lot because there's not too many that have come out yet. So yes, another Elixir, but this is one that if you like the Bad Boy line, you gotta check out, because for me, this is the one to own right now. Really good. So there we go, guys. Bad Boy Elixir from Carolina Herrera. Stay safe out there, guys. Take care of yourselves. Try not to get sick. I will see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys later.